welcome back to Between the Seams, Big City Volleyball's podcast. I'm your host, Mikayla Cooper, and today I'm here with some special guests, and we're going to be talking about the upcoming summer Paris Olympics and getting ready for watching volleyball, indoor, beach, other sports. We're going to be talking about the whole thing today. Who do we have? Here on my right, I have Klinger Ribeiro.
You guys know me already. I've been here, but I'm Klinger, Kiki.
And on my left, we have a new podcast guest.
Yes.
Introduce yourself.
To the better right.
Right.
My name is Jose Toval.
Yeah, great to have both of you guys here. Jose, tell us more about yourself.
Thank you for the invite, first of all. Kiki, I know Kiki from volleyball here in New York for the longest.
Literally.
And I think he knows how much I love volleyball, how much I eat and breathe volleyball. I play, coach, watch, study. So any volleyball questions you have, let me know. I'm here.
He's our resident expert here today on the podcast. So looking forward to the Paris Olympics. They begin July 26th. So are we excited? Do you guys normally tune into the Olympics every year?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wait for it. Every 4 years, I'm like, oh my God, Olympics.
Yes, we always counting the days from when the quadrennial starts until the day of. And this year I'm going. I just made the decision last week, so I'm going to be watching live.
That's so exciting. How does that work? Do you get to go to certain events?
Well, you have to buy your tickets, first of all, to go to each game. They don't have an all-access pass, which is insane to me.
It's so stupid.
But I know it's a money thing. They try to get their money, so you have to pay tax and whatever for each game you watch. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to try to watch as many indoor volleyball games I can get my hands on. Mostly women. Men's is interesting, but I'm not trying to watch certain teams that I don't care about. But
Yeah.
I definitely want to see Japan men and women.
Yeah. Wait, but tell how you're going, because we have like mutual friends on like national teams.
I mean, yes. So one of my closest friends, his daughter, is playing for the Dominican national team. Her name is Ariana, and she's only 18 years old. So I'm going with the family. I'm gonna be staying there with the Rodriguez family. And yeah, I'm gonna be supporting the Dominican team, but also my U.S. team, Brazil, and all the other teams. I don't discriminate when it comes to volleyball. I know who I like and who is who, and I'm gonna go have fun with every team.
Yeah. I coached Ariana in club, so I have my little sprinkle
Kendra
of
wants to take credit for coaching an Olympic athlete.
sprinkle of talent. No, she was already very talented when she got to
she
me.
was born with that. Both her parents are amazing volleyball. Her father's a legend.
Yeah.
And the mom was a sick player.
Yeah.
Sick volleyball player.
Yeah.
Suking.
If you're watching this, you definitely know who Elvis is. If you don't, you should find out who Elvis is, because he is the legend of New York.
Wow, that's so exciting. Yeah, I usually watch the Olympics every time it comes around with my family. I feel like I kind of prefer the Summer Olympics over the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
I watch both.
I watch both.
But Summer Olympics is always super fun.
It is. It really is.
Do you know what's funny? I found out that there was an actual Winter Olympics not too long ago. To me, was...
You didn't know?
First of all,
Because Brazil doesn't really have too many winter
We don't have
sports.
any. We don't have any. We don't compete in Winter Olympics. But the thing is, to me, it was like... Actually, we might have. I don't know. But we don't have snow in Brazil. So, like... And it's, like, the coldest it gets, it's, like... I don't know.
I know. It's
like
the weather over there is amazing.
40 degrees. Like, I don't know. Like, we can't have winter sports. But anyways, I didn't know that there was a thing because I forgot that, like, snowboarding, like, is
Figure
hockey.
skating.
Figure
I
skating.
love
Is
figure
hockey
skating.
an Olympic sport?
Yes.
Okay, so, like, hockey, I didn't know it was, like, they also competed in the Olympics.
Yeah, it's amazing.
To me, those sports were like they had their international competitions, but they were to me like the NFL or like football, American football, that they had their own thing. but I had no idea they actually went to the Olympics.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually, especially figure skating. It's
Oh, yeah,
such
it's
a
gorgeous.
beautiful sport to watch.
Yeah.
It is. That's
I grew up.
definitely
I
some
grew
of
up
my-
watching figure skating as well as much as I watched tennis and volleyball and gymnastics.
It's so fun to
Yeah.
watch. Incredibly difficult.
Oh my God.
They are so talented.
And so
Yeah.
artistic,
I mean,
so beautiful to
yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
I like the speed skating too.
Yeah, it's very
And
interesting.
I do watch the hockey. And then summer comes around. I was looking up recently, in preparation for this, all the sports. There's like 40 sports
Yeah,
in the Summer
tons of
Olympics.
sports.
Sports you've never thought of, never
yeah.
heard of.
A lot of sports that shouldn't be sports.
Speed walking. Speed walking is an Olympic sport.
I think it's called race walking,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And these
yeah,
people
that's
are-
a track and field event.
Looking
I
like
could have
fools out there.
Anyone from New York could be a speed walker because
Right.
we're in New York. That's what we do. Get out of
Right.
my way. I need to go
That's
places.
true. We could put together a whole New York City team.
Literally. Do you know what I found out yesterday actually on TikTok? I was watching, because now my TikTok is filled with Olympic content.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching a TikTok of this woman who's like a marine, like a sea expert. Like she knows everything about the oceans. And she was saying that the place where France chose to host the surfing events is one of the most dangerous places to surf in the world, and that the waves are wild. And then there's this thing called like the break point of a wave, which
Yeah.
I come from a place in Brazil where we don't have the ocean, so I never grew up learning about the ocean. And she was explaining that the wave breaks is so
rough.
quick,
Yes.
and it goes from like really deep to really shallow in like
I mean,
seconds, and it's really dangerous for surfers because when the wave breaks is when they have to be out of the wave already.
Yeah.
And because it's so quick, they have to do this whole like calculation of like when they get on the wave to when they're gonna get out of the wave. Otherwise they will literally like drown.
Timing is huge. I was
Crazy.
looking into like some of the water sports I find like are the most fascinating.
Yeah.
And so difficult. Like I personally love watching sports that I know I could never ever do.
Right.
You know, it makes it that much more impressive and fun to watch. Like sailing. They have speed sailing races and speed canoeing and like
I could never watch
marathon swimming. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And water sports look so hard. And
Yeah.
surfing is something they just recently added
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
2020
Yeah.
Olympics. Which is also cool because they've added so many sports in recent years. Like they added BMX, skateboarding, breakdancing.
Yeah, X sports they call it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, of course, if you have a talent and with like any other athlete, you should be respected and should be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
riding a bike and doing all those crazy things in the air.
I don't think
Yes.
American football should be in the
Get-
Olympics.
get
I'm great. It
medal.
isn't.
Well, I think more like international sports.
Okay, great.
But it is nice
Do
to
they
have.
have? They don't have football in the Olympics.
It's no.
No, they have
American
7-on-7
football.
rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, rugby.
'Cause
Yeah,
rugby
no, a
is
lot of
more-
countries have rugby. It's
Yeah.
a little more
It's
international.
more international.
American
for
football
sure.
is more here.
American.
American.
Soccer, basketball, gymnastics.
We shouldn't be called
swimming.
American football because football, we know, football is soccer.
But that's why it's called American, because it was created in the
Yeah,
US.
because they're not good with their feet, I guess. So
So shade.
It's not really a feat sport.
Right. They kicked the ball once.
yeah, that's why they're
Twice,
not really
but-
good at soccer.
A few times during the game. But yeah. I mean, there's so many sports. There's so much to watch and so much coverage. When the Olympics come on, there's, every single day, basically all day, you could be watching the Olympics.
Yeah, literally.
Which is usually what I do. Like, I'm very interested in like volleyball, obviously, beach volleyball and indoor volleyball. It's my number one love. But I also watch tennis like crazy. Swimming,
tennis.
gymnastics.
Gymnastics. Come
I
on.
can
I'm
wait
really
Simone
excited to
Biles.
watch tennis.
gymnastics.
Huh?
I'm really excited to watch the
Oh,
tennis
me
too.
too.
I forgot about it.
Oh my
It's
God.
amazing. Yeah.
I am so excited to see Simone Biles back at the Olympics. The
I
GOAT.
think, is her fourth? No.
Her second.
Her third. Second?
2016 was her first Olympics in Rio.
So third.
And then 2020 she didn't go.
Oh.
She quit.
No, she did go. She did go. She did
But she
go and
didn't
got some
compete.
She didn't compete in certain events, but
Oh, she didn't compete in individual.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I think it's
yeah,
her
okay,
third.
so it
Yeah,
is
she
her
did-
third.
it is
Yeah,
her
yeah,
third.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's just such a massive, influential athlete
Yeah.
and powerhouse
Oh, yeah.
that it just feels like what is the Olympics without Simone Biles?
I
Right.
know she's definitely a staple in that sport. And,
Yeah.
So fun.
and she's
to
gonna be
watch.
at this year. The U.S. team it's
Insane.
It's insane.
Suni Lee.
It has a number of there's one new girl, I think, but everybody else is so experienced.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're the team to watch, to be honest.
Yeah.
For the gymnastics.
Women's gymnastics,
Yes.
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, there's so many good sports to watch.
Yeah.
We're
But volleyball is
obviously-
what we love.
Volleyball is the one that we are mainly going to be talking about. You mentioned a little bit of it already. Are you guys more excited for beach or indoor?
Indoor.
Indoor, 100%.
Yeah, I after moving to the US, I developed this like appreciation for beach volleyball, but I hated it when I was younger. Like when I was in club, we had club practice that it was on the beach during preseason, and I hated it.
And it's also a completely different
Sport, yeah.
Like a lot of people that wouldn't know volleyball think, oh, beach volleyball, indoor volleyball, same thing. It's a completely different animal. You don't play them the same. The rules are not the same. Physically, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So I used to love beach volleyball because of Misty May and Kerry Walsh, and also the
goats.
Brazilians. I forgot their names.
I don't know
They
their
were
names.
Misty May and Kerry Walsh nemesis. But those were the only teams that had me glued on TV to watch beach volleyball. But after they retire, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, beach volleyball's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the best venue in Paris. Did you see it?
In front of the Eiffel
Beautiful.
Tower.
It's
I can't
beautiful.
wait to take
Crazy.
pictures there. I'm gonna be like, people are gonna be looking at me in the big plaza like, who is this?
Who is
I'm
that?
gonna be like, J-Lo, honey, take pictures.
No, it looks so beautiful.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, they have the best venue to me.
Yeah.
With the Eiffel Tower.
Right in the
Right in the
like
background.
back is crazy.
Yeah, the backdrop.
It's
cinematic.
crazy. And then like Chase, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he was like the guy, one of the American teams that is going for beach volleyball for men's. One of the players is a retired NBA player.
Oh yes.
He's a retired NBA player who retired from playing the NBA and then went to play the AVP because apparently in college he played both basketball and
And
volleyball.
He's so good.
So good. And he's won the AVP countless times. And now he's going to the Olympics and he's like a double sport athlete.
There's a lot of
A high performance double sport athlete.
But there is a lot of double sport athletes that rather play other sports than volleyball because you don't really make money as you would playing basketball, football, baseball.
Yeah.
Then
At the
volleyball,
pro level?
at the pro level. Yeah, volleyball doesn't pay that much unless you're in the best teams, in the
best
higher
leagues,
clubs,
yeah.
in the best leagues in the world, like Italy, Russia, Turkey, all these places.
Yeah.
I don't think it's considered as mainstream as some of those sports you mentioned, like basketball or
Yeah,
soccer.
I mean it is. I think the second or third most played sport in
the world. I think
It's
it's the
just that
second most played
in
word.
the US. They don't really invest.
Yeah,
Now the leagues
there's
are
not
starting,
investment.
but they don't really invest for volleyball like that, which I don't understand because
Yeah.
women's volleyball, girls volleyball, growing. You know the amount of girls, thousands and thousands of girls play for so many volleyball leagues,
Yeah.
like your league, like VBLI here, like so many volleyball leagues that Legacy that has 10,000 plus girls playing every year. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand how companies do not invest in having a pro league in the US. Now it's gonna start. It started this year. Let's see that if
I have a theory, and I think it's because volleyball requires quite a lot of space for you to hold it. And there's like the places that have money to invest, which are like the big cities like New York, Detroit, Chicago,
California,
California. They besides California, they don't have like space. And like, especially in New York, like the reason why volleyball in New York isn't as popular as it could be is because we don't have space to have gyms and like
I think we do have space. I disagree with that a little bit. The problem is renting the place.
yeah.
It is
Absolutely.
extremely expensive.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
at big
especially
city
the
we
major-
know.
Yeah, especially the major cities, like it's expensive to
Yeah.
rent. And to rent, I mean, the only place where I would think in New York that they have the space to have that level
Is
of
Long
volleyball,
Island.
It's in Madison Square Garden.
Oh.
But who's going to rent a space in Madison Square Garden to have volleyball?
Yeah.
Way too
Like
expensive.
basketball has their own stadiums. Like volleyball doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Especially New York. Like if you go to the Midwest, you can find it. But
Yeah.
here, no, they don't see volleyball.
I mean, look at Nebraska. Nebraska hosted a volleyball game
Everybody
for
plays
92,000
volleyball in
people.
Nebraska. You go to Nebraska, somebody pregnant, the baby already playing volleyball in that
Yeah.
building. Like they just make volleyball.
It's
players.
crazy. It's crazy.
California is the same, Hawaii is the same, Texas, Florida.
Yeah.
But it's not really like most of the pro players, the really good high level players that play D1 or play for the pro leagues, they play overseas. They don't.
Yeah.
Well, also Olympic athletes don't make as much as people
Well, they
would
don't.
probably assume.
They don't make any money.
They really
They
don't make.
You know
I mean,
they don't
they
make
make
money to play
money,
for the
but
national
compared
team,
to-
right? They don't get paid.
Yeah, they make money off of
Sponsorships, yeah.
brand deals,
Sponsorships and stuff like
that.
NIL.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
think the
so-
most a player gets paid, sorry to interrupt you, in the pro level would be what, $10 million? Which is nothing compared to what this basketball, football, and
I
baseball
mean,
players are
yeah.
making.
Wait, hold on. 10 million? Who's making $10 million?
In the men's area, there's players that are making that $6 million.
Okay.
Brenda Castillo is a libero. She makes $6.5 million.
Yeah, I think she's the highest paid athlete in the world.
As a libero, no, right? Agonu, I think it is. Agonu and Boscovich are the ones that.
Oh,
get paid the most.
probably. Anyways, we'll get into the names in a little bit because there's a lot of names. We'll be dropping a lot of names.
We're gonna dive into some of these men's, women's national teams that are coming up in the Olympics. Yeah, that's really interesting. So can pro VBA players go to the Olympics?
So basically, how it works is they play their professional league. For example, like Jamal's girlfriend, Lindsay, she's a professional volleyball player, but she didn't get invited to be in the national team.
Yeah, it's
So
by
like you can
invitation.
play professional, but they have to invite you.
Yeah, it's by
So at the beginning of the season, they invite 24 girls to come to California and train with them.
Yes.
And then during that process, they start cutting people.
Yeah.
And then
The
during the
Olympic
VNL, which is the Volleyball Nations League, which is what comes right before the Olympics, they take a bunch of girls to the VNL. Each city that they go, they have a different hot roster because they're testing the girls. And then after the VNL, or like right at the end of the VNL, they release the list of the 12 players that can
14
go to
now. 14.
14, but then two of them, you can only have 12 people on the roster,
Yeah.
but two of them are alternates. In case someone gets injured, now they're allowed to bring extra people. Before, the teams would go with 12 people
Yeah.
and hope for the best, because if someone got hurt, that you don't have enough people to sub.
Yeah, but that's also a luxury that USA has because we have so many amazing athletes that play D1, D2. Athletes that some of us don't even know because they're not on top 25 like D1
Yeah.
volleyball teams that play overseas. We have hundreds of girls, and hundreds of girls get invited to the USA volleyball gym. And only a very few get selected.
Yeah.
But USA, they could really have 5 national teams if they wanted to. Send
Yeah,
one to the
literally.
Pan American Games and Orseka Games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have so many good athletes and good volleyball players that they can have, which is a luxury. Not a lot of countries can say that.
Yeah.
You know, USA has hundreds of girls training. And you could see how when the Pan American Games come, they send a roster where maybe one of the veterans from the main national team is there or two. Then they send another roster to a match in Europe. Then they send another roster to the VNL.
Yeah.
In the VNL, they're always changing
Yeah.
the roster, and that's a luxury to have.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't have that.
They have like B teams, C teams,
Yeah.
G teams. Like the US has so many variations of the national
The
team.
luxury with that is that through the years, by gaining that experience, those players that are playing on the B, C, D teams, they finally make
Yeah,
it
yeah, to the A team.
To the A team.
Yeah.
The main team that practices every year to make it to the Olympics.
Yeah.
There's so much talent.
So much. I mean, look at NCAA D1 women's volleyball. Like those girls are monsters. Like Samantha Bricio was this player who played at USC.
USC.
What USC? She is to this day a monster volleyball player. Like
From Mexico.
wild. Her jump serve was wild.
Yeah, she's still a
She's
great player.
playing professional in Japan. She's been in Japan or China for like the last 5 years. She doesn't play for the national team. She plays for the Mexican national team because she's Mexican. But she's not even playing for the Mexican national team anymore because the whole thing with the national team is like, it's a pride. Like you want to You want to like represent your country.
Of course.
However, you are representing your country, but you're not making any money off of it. And at the end of the day, people need to eat. So a lot of players, so a volleyball player's like season and like it's very long. Like they play club and then they leave club and they go straight to national team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So-
very hard life.
A lot of players choose to not play for the national team because they want to make enough money during club and then have the rest of the year to breathe and like
It's also a lot of politics there.
a lot of
You know, there's
politics.
a lot
Oh
of
my
politics, a
god!
lot of
I mean,
favoritism,
if there wasn't
like-
politics, Coach Crowley would not be at the national team anymore. And I
Shade.
said what I said.
Yeah. Let's dive into men's volleyball.
Yes. Of
Rough.
course. What do you want to know?
Rough.
So, what do you want to know? Of course, Jose's got his notepad of all the notes. He's gonna give us the rundown. I mean, what are some of the teams you're most excited to watch?
There's a lot of good teams. So volleyball goes from July 27th to August 11th. That's when the volleyball sport it's going to be played in Paris. They're going to be right center. So we have a total of 12 teams that made it for men's and women's. You want me to name them or just the tops?
Sure, you can run down the list. Go with
So-
men's teams first.
So the men's teams are going to be that made it after the VNL. It's Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Egypt, France as the host. They also won the VNL this year. So
Yeah.
if they weren't hosting, they were gonna make it regardless.
Yeah.
Germany, Italy, Japan, super hot.
Oh my god, Japan men's
and
team.
women's. Poland, Serbia, Slovenia, which is a team that nobody saw coming.
Right.
And the USA. Those are the teams that are making it to the Paris Olympics for the men's side. And for the women's, we have Brazil, China, the Dominican Republic, France as the host, which no shade, they would have never made it if they weren't the host. Italy,
Right.
who are the VNL champions, they were gonna make it regardless. And also, I think Italy was gonna make it because of the ranking.
Yeah,
of
they
the-
were top three.
they were gonna make it. Japan, like I said, super hot. Kenya, who would never make it, but they're representing the African continent. So every African country always gets one team gets a go. We have the Netherlands, Poland, Serbia, Turkey, and USA,
Nice.
Yeah.
and a ton of amazing athletes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what I'm most excited about the men's volleyball is I am not a big fan, but it's because I find it's too
straightforward.
fast paced.
It's too
Yeah,
straightforward.
it's too like pass that hit. There's like it's getting better now. Like as the years are going by, and with the like rise of the Japanese men's volleyball
That's
team,
what's making it fun to me.
because
the
they
Japanese-
have the defense of I've
I've never seen
wild.
that.
Their libero is wild.
But not only the libero, everybody.
Yeah, the outsides
team.
like Ishikawa and the other outside.
It's a dangerous team to play against because nobody ever saw them as a threat.
Yeah.
And ever since the Argentinian coach, it's coaching them now. Argentinians are known for an aggressive style of volleyball, and Japan has always been known for a very technical, defensive type of volleyball. But they were never able to convert a point after a dig, right? So this coach came in and changed the culture completely. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're eating the weights in the weight room.
Yeah.
Because these Japanese guys are hitting the crap out of the ball. And the same with the women.
Yeah.
The women are also playing insane volleyball. Nobody wants to play against Japan. And I think they're the
underdog.
team, the underdog
Yeah.
that nobody wants to play against because they can take anybody off the podium.
Yeah. They like, because in volleyball, like when I'm sure for other sports it's the same thing, but like when you're playing against a team that is really good at defense, you get like, it starts getting in your head because you're hitting the ball over and over and over and over and
it's
over,
never converting
and
to a
it's
point.
never getting to the floor. It's so infuriating to play against a team. Like we played this thing called NAGVA, and like we play a lot of Thai teams and like
Asian teams.
Asian teams.
To
Kill
get
me.
a point, you really have to be. They're so scrappy.
Yeah.
They're the type of like. And what I love about the Asian teams is that they really study volleyball.
Yeah.
You're playing, and while we're all drinking and having fun, they're sitting in the sidelines, looking at players, studying mannerisms, studying like what do you do when the ball is off the net? What do you do when it's not in system play? What are players doing?
Yeah.
Who are the top players? Oh, let me see what angles you like to hit. So you come to the game, you play with these Asian players, and you're hitting your best shot, and they're sitting there waiting for you. Oh,
Yeah.
I saw you do this all the time. So it's really hard to play against
it's really
them.
hard.
And then now they're converting.
Yeah, now they can hit the ball.
Now they hit the crap out of the ball. So
Yeah.
you're like, how do I beat this team?
Yeah.
They almost beat France. I think they lost in the VNL finals because of lack of experience. They
Yeah.
couldn't believe it that they made it to the finals for the first time in a major tournament. And that's why they lost, because even France made it to the finals. And I was like, how did the French team make it to the finals?
They won the
Without
Olympics.
Without Engapeth, they made it to the VNL finals. I'm like, how?
Engapeth
Nobody
is fat and old.
Yeah, it's just.
Engapeth's fat and old.
But I can wait to see Japan live.
Yeah.
Japan are the front runners.
I don't think they're the front runners, but I think they're the underdogs.
They're the underdog.
Okay, who's the front
For
runners?
men's. For men's.
For men's?
Who are the front runners?
Oh,
Okay,
it's
for
hard to
men-
say.
What are we expecting? What are we predicting?
Okay, so for men's, I think the runners are Argentina, because they have an insane team, so athletic, so strong. They're also, besides the point, but they're also so attractive.
Yes.
So gorgeous.
That's not why they're front
That
runners, but
entire
yes.
team is just so pretty. It makes
That's
me
why.
sick to
That's why
watch.
we're rooting for them.
Right. But then, like, I think technically, talent wise, I think the front runners are like France again. I think they're gonna win the Olympics again.
I don't know. My front runners for the men's side, you can never count Brazil out.
Ugh, I'm counting them out, and I'm Brazilian because that team
No,
pisses
the thing
me
is
off.
that no team in the world, men or women, played with the passion that Brazil plays. Like, they don't have the strongest team right now in either men or women, but there's something about Brazilians that you can never count them out, because they have won several medals out of their gut. Like, nobody ever thought they were gonna make it, and then they start playing, and they have solid players. They have very international players that have all the experience in the world. But when you put them together in some games, you're like, you can tell they've never played together. But all of a sudden, their heart, the
Yeah.
way they put their heart and soul into that jersey, it's like they become superstars,
Yeah.
right? We also have teams like Serbia, who are extremely aggressive, and Poland,
yes.
who are extremely aggressive. Those people and their fan base is insane. They're gonna be in Europe. Those Polish fans are gonna be there.
Yeah.
You're gonna see red everywhere, because
Oh.
Poland
The
brings
fans.
Yeah.
the crazy fans, right? USA,
wait.
you can never count them out either, because USA, it's so technical, and they have very good players with tons of experience. My issue with USA men's and women's, I love them. I want them to win everything, but they're so technical, and they don't have that hitter that it's going to destroy the ball. Everybody hits the ball hard and good, and they're so technical. They play with the block, but they don't have that one player when it's an out-of-system play. I can just throw it to him, and I know he's gonna give me a point.
I mean, the U.S. now has DeFalco, but the thing is,
Yeah,
DeFalco is
but-
not gonna last.
Yeah.
DeFalco is this player played at
The
Long
outside
Beach,
hitter.
and he is a monster. Like, the man hits the
Top
ball on a
two
10-foot
best
line
outside
like
hitters
it's
in the world
not
right now.
nobody's business.
Yeah.
Like, wild. The thing is, he has the way he lands when he swings can tell you that he's not going to last, because he lands on one leg, and he falls as soon as he lands because he's trying to compensate for the knee.
For all that pressure.
Yeah,
on one knee.
I tore my ACL because I jumped and I landed on one leg.
And that's when
That's
your body will left
dangerous.
your body.
Yes.
You gotta take care of your body
Yes.
to play,
Yeah, but this
especially
player's not,
multi-Olympian athletes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
coming back. So there's two players on the men's team that it's their fourth Olympics.
Oh yeah, Matt Anderson, Micah Christensen, and David Smith.
Think about
And
how.
Holt also. Holt.
Max Holt is his third Olympics.
It's his third? Okay.
Yeah, think about how elite you have to be for such a long
Oh, yeah.
period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
To
the toll
be
on
a
your body, yeah.
third, fourth Olympics.
I mean, Micah Christensen is a setter, so like it has less impact on your body.
Arguably the best setter in the world right now.
I don't think so.
Arguably.
I don't think so.
Arguably, we could. I mean, there's amazing setters, but the things
don't
that
think
that
so.
boy does, not a lot of people can do.
I like the
yeah.
men's libero.
Oh, Eric Shoji.
Eric Shoji, we love Eric
He
Shoji.
is huge on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
I love his TikTok.
Yeah.
He's so relatable.
So
he does not
he
play like a
is.
celebrity. Like, I have a lot of friends
love
that have
Eric
seen
Shoji.
him in
Yeah.
in tournaments, and he sits down and speaks to you like he knows you.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
carry this ego.
Very nice.
Like,
Yeah, that's
very
why I like
approachable.
him.
Very
And
approachable.
he does kind of like instructional videos and
Yeah.
stuff. Like he'll teach
He's super fun.
little skills in his TikToks,
Yeah.
and it's not just about like training.
Yeah.
Like he likes to have fun. Are there any teams that you would say are like rivalries brewing?
Brazil and USA.
course. Brazil, USA. Brazil, Argentina.
Oh, yeah.
It's always crazy. USA, Canada. Poland, Serbia. Poland, Brazil. Brazil
yeah.
it always has beef with everybody.
everybody.
Because Brazil has always been the team to win, to beat. Like, they might not have the best teams right now, but everybody's scared of Brazil because of their name.
Yeah.
Brazil is Brazil wherever
have a
they step.
pedigree.
Yes, they have a pedigree. I never count Brazil out. Brazil can easily be last, or they can easily win the whole thing.
But the thing is, Brazil has never
Being out of
the playoffs of
the
the
playoffs.
Olympics. In fact,
or medals. I think they have the most medals in volleyball.
no, the US has.
The US, right?
Yeah, but Brazil in 2012, Brazil played London, and they went with this team that was like, there's a whole documentary about it, because the
Men's
team
or
was
women's?
like women's, and like very interesting. And the Brazilian men's team went as the like predicted to
favorites.
win. They went all the way to finals, lost to Russia 3-2 in fifth set.
The Russian team.
The
though.
Russian team.
It was an amazing Russian team.
But like Brazil is always like just like eating around the corners, and then all of a sudden, boom.
I
They're
don't like
like,
to talk about those games because they beat USA twice when they had no business beating
can I
USA.
talk about it?
No, it burns my heart. You know how much I cried? I can even watch those games right now. Like,
The US went to 2008 in Beijing as the favorites. They had Logan Tom, they had
Daniel Scalaruda.
Daniel Scott. They had all the best American players ever. They went as the favorites. Brazil went as the second favorite because Brazil had an insane team. Brazil went undefeated, went to finals against the USA. The US won the first set 25-12. But everyone lost.
25-12.
Whoa.
But
Everyone
USA
thought it was
have beat
over.
them in every
Every
tournament
single
they played
tournament.
before the Olympics.
This past
Destroyed
year,
them.
this year at the VNL was the first time Brazil has beaten the US in 5
so long.
years. 5 years. But anyways,
Eat
they
that.
went to finals. They went to finals, and Brazil lost the first set 25-12. Something came on them. Like,
That is what
something
I'm telling
happened to
you
them.
about Brazil.
They came on the second set, and the third, and the fourth set.
And
Absolutely annihilated the US. 3-1. And then in London, Brazil almost didn't even make it to playoffs. They lost to Korea, which Brazil had never lost to.
I mean, Korea had Kim Young-kang.
Kim Young-kang, but mother.
Arguably the best volleyball player ever
Yeah.
to have played volleyball.
She
was a monster.
She was a
Her
monster.
team
She just
finished-
retired.
Yeah, her team finished in 4th or 5th. And she
Because
got
of her.
MVP.
Yeah, she got MVP.
MVP of the Olympics.
That's how good she is.
Yeah, that's how good she is.
is.
But yeah, Brazil did the same thing in the US in 2012. But 2012, the final game was Brazil and Russia. It is considered the best volleyball game in women's volleyball
Amazing.
ever. It was 2 hours and 46 minutes. It went to 5 sets. Brazil won 19-17 in a tiebreaker.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was an amazing.
It was like, to this day is like the best volleyball game
And
ever.
that was a huge rivalry because
Oh, yeah,
Russia
Gamova.
had this player called Gamova, who's a goddess, and she used to get on. First of all, she was 6'7"
Yeah.
or 6'8", and she used to get under everyone's skin.
Because she was so
Especially
good.
Brazilian, because she was so good and unstoppable.
Yeah.
She was the type of player that will hit the ball over you and look at the Brazilians over there and they're like this. Like,
Yeah.
and had the Brazilians here eating from her hand. And it's like, there's so many videos of them, but it's all
Oh, yeah.
respect, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, it's all like, and I love that type of volleyball.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
As long as you're not, because that is the difference from Karakurt, from
The
Turkey,
Turkish
who's
player.
so disrespectful, and Gamova, who was also very in your face, but she never spoke a word.
Yeah, she never said
let
anything.
her volleyball speak.
Yeah.
She let her skill speak. You don't like me? Come block me.
Yeah.
And she would stand in the net like, why don't you all come block me?
Yeah.
And they couldn't. But still Brazil played, it's one of my favorite games ever.
There was a huge rivalry between Brazil's right side, Sheila, which is, I believe,
Of course, you're Brazilian.
she is the greatest right side hitter of all time.
And that is the biggest lie you've ever gonna hear.
He's
Totally
biased.
podcast.
He's biased.
Of course he's
biased.
Who do you think it is? Gamova?
Girl, you tried it. How are you going to say that?
I will always say that
It's just you're
Shayla.
Brazilian and that's your friend.
Shayla's mother.
Yeah, Shayla is an amazing
She also
player.
is the reason why Brazil beat Russia because she
Yes.
saved 5 match points. They set her 5 times. She saved all of them. But
The
anyways,
reason why Brazil won so much is because of 2 players. Jacqueline Carvalho,
Mother.
who dug all those balls in position 6
Yeah.
for her to hit the ball. And for Miss Setter, who was her setter?
Danielines.
Thank you. Who was the other setter in the other Olympics?
Oh, Fofão.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Brazil-
about Shayla.
Brazil
Shayla
has always-
couldn't hit that one ball if Jacqueline was not back there
Right.
and Paula Pequeño picking up those balls.
Right.
Thank
but
you so
Shayla
much.
is too much. Anyways.
Shayla was great.
Anyways, she's too
Thank
much.
you.
She's
Not-
too much.
But not. No,
I think she's the greatest.
No.
But anyways.
I'm not sure, but I think I agree with Jose.
Sure. The reason why Brazil won that Russian game was because not because
was
they were
converting.
better, not because they were better than Russian, but because they had more like willpower.
Heart.
They wanted to win.
Oh my God, it was
because Russian had a better team. Brazil had more passion.
You know, that's where my love
Which is what they
started for
always do.
Jacqueline. To me, Jacqueline will always be goddess because of the
she
things
is.
she did. Forget about what she did in the front. She was a very technical player in the front. She will get her points. But in the back row, she will play like a libero.
She was a
in
libero,
position 6.
basically.
It was nothing. It doesn't matter if a man came to hit the ball was not going to drop in the floor. She was so good reading and moving from pin to pin. She wasn't even following the laws of volleyball. Like when somebody hits in the outside, if you're playing position 6, you stand in this side so that you get that angle and the blockers are blocking a certain angle. No, she would follow her own rhythm because she knew every player. And she would just watch the game and read it. So it was like Brazil had 2 liberos in the court.
Yeah, you should, Mikayla, you should watch. I will send it to you. The Brazil and Russian
They
game.
will make you fall in love. With
It will
volleyball, like
make you
no tomorrow.
change, like, wanna watch volleyball.
That was my favorite
I-
Brazil team
I
ever.
would definitely want
I
to.
cried watching it. I was at the airport coming back from
I cried for all
vacation,
the
and I
reasons 'cause
cried
Jose
watching it. And the little TV in the airport, I saw that Brazil beat Russia, and I saw the last few points, and I cried. I cried.
That was the gold medal.
No,
match?
that was semifinals.
not
was
even
semifinals.
Not even. The
No, the
gold
finals
medal
was
match.
boring. They beat the U.S. 3-1 again.
Oh
Same
my
that they did
God.
in
You don't have to say
2008.
it like
That's
that.
so
boring,
funny.
boring.
I cried. I was so mad. USA had a monster team.
But anyways, anywho.
Anyway, next question, please. Thank you.
Russia wasn't even on that list. Are they?
Oh,
still
it's no,
banned?
It's
they're
because
banned.
of the
They
politics.
can't
They're
play.
banned.
They're banned.
Which
They're
also-
banned.
for doping athletes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only that,
Which
it's
is so
because
sad.
of the
It
war
is sad.
in the Ukraine. The FIVB said that until the president doesn't stop that, no team will get
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
represent
Russia.
their country.
So-
Which is a shame because not every Russian is or agrees with the politics in their country.
Right.
But something needs to be done in order for that man to stop. And clearly
Yeah.
you can tell he doesn't care about his country or his athletes because he hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't disagree with it, but it's sad for the athletes.
Oh, it's so sad.
That
Yeah,
work
it's
so
sad. And
hard.
there's so many good athletes, elites in volleyball and tennis, which are the sports that I follow. So many amazing athletes, amazing humans that they cannot even have their country's flag when they're playing because of
Yeah.
what's happening in the
Yeah.
country politically. Like it's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah.
But thank God, because if Russia had a team
Right.
playing in the Olympics, it would be nobody's business.
Right.
They have so many
good people.
crazy players scattered throughout the
mean-
top leagues in the world.
There's a reason why
Is
Russia.
it because of the doping?
It's not only because of that.
It's because they invest.
Yeah.
They invest in
No,
volleyball.
It was mostly a joke. A
Yeah,
little bit
and
of
let me
joke.
tell you something.
Not
Russians
not
are
that
very
much a joke.
like Brazilians.
They invest in it.
They are very passionate.
But it's also like there's a reason why Russia has the most amount of Olympic medals for volleyball in the world. They won the first Olympics in women's volleyball. They won the first Olympics that volleyball was part of it.
Yeah.
And they've been in finals, semis.
Cuba has the most, I think.
Oh, you're right.
For women's.
Yeah, they were.
Oh my God, the Cuba. That's another team I'll send you.
That's another topic.
Because
That's
Cuba
another
was.
topic.
Oh God.
What
You
about
guys should do a
men's?
podcast about Cuba.
Men's. I think it's
Men's and women's.
Russia too. I think
Men's
it's Russia.
Russia.
Yeah, men's is Russia, I think.
Yeah.
But I will have to look into that. I wouldn't give you like an.
But the USA is definitely up there.
They have the
US is
most
a-
Olympic medals in
Yes.
general.
In general, yes.
But they not in volleyball. They're not very successful. They
I
haven't
feel
been
like
very successful
USA
at the
just like
Olympics.
fuels sports.
Yeah.
And it's
So
also the
many
size of
sports.
USA, the amount of investment there is to their sports and their players. Like they really cultivate, and the NCAA is a great
Example.
start and
Yeah.
example. There's so many athletes from other countries that want to play in the NCAA because USA can be whatever you want. Okay, we don't have monster players that hit the crap out of the ball, but they're gonna teach you good volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the fundamentals from the moment you start playing volleyball at 6 years old until you make it to that D1 school in college. Like
Yeah.
they're respected throughout the world because of their technique and the system of volleyball they run. That's another team in the women's side that we cannot count out. They're the Olympic champions.
They're the reigning champions.
They're the reigning champions.
They won 2020.
But they're not playing well at all. But if they're passing the ball, they're dangerous. They run a very fast tempo. They have very good athletes. They're a very complete team. It's just a matter of them clicking
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. I mean, they
And
beat
I hope they do.
They beat Brazil in finals in 2020. But like even Brazil went into the 2020 USA team, they had two national teams. Their starting team and their bench were just as good as each other.
Yeah.
They could have put two American teams into the Olympics and they would have most likely played each other in finals.
Yeah.
That's how good they were.
Yeah.
And they went into Brazil. Brazil, I was very shocked that Brazil made it to finals because I didn't think they had the team. But again, you can't count them out. But then as soon as they walked in, they knew it. Like the girls who've played in the Brazilian team that year said that they walked in knowing that were going to lose that game because the
USA
US was just
too strong.
unstoppable.
Like they had 14 players in that roster, and the 14 players played in the top club leagues
in the world. Yeah.
There was not one player on that roster, maybe Juan Orantes, but
New
everybody
and then
else-
played
and
one
played in Poland,
best
I think, or
libero.
Germany, yeah.
One best libero.
But everybody played in the top leagues in the world. It's like
Yeah.
saying that all the NBA players, all the top NBA players are playing for one team, and then they go and they play against the world.
Which is what
Who's
happens.
gonna beat them?
That's basically what's happening
Right. It
is
with
what's
the
happening, but
with the
that was-
USA basketball teams,
I wanna watch them,
men's
at least
especially.
one game.
I mean, I'm super excited to watch basketball because I love basketball. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the greatest men's basketball roster ever. It's
Yeah.
like all
insane.
of the top pretty much
insane.
all of the top basketball players in the world play in the NBA. I mean, European leagues and overseas leagues are pretty big. Also China as well.
Yeah, but even
but the USA
international
team
players play in the NBA.
exactly because
Players
it's
from Russia, Slovenia, China, Japan.
Yeah.
All these players play in the NBA.
it's pretty much the top level of basketball worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why the USA team is just a juggernaut. Like they're already playing in some of the qualifying rounds. They're blowing teams out by 40.
I know. I saw they
But-
played Serbia.
You
I think
should
it
have
was
seen
113 like to 60.
the
I was
people
like,
that didn't make the USA basketball roster are still all stars
Right.
like
Yeah.
in the NBA. It's crazy
Right.
because
it's
you
nuts.
only
The
have
depth is crazy.
it's 12 spots.
Yeah.
I think, and it's just like the amount of talent that they had to cut.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's
Yeah,
insane.
and the women's
they're
team
so
too.
hot,
I'm
too.
so excited for the women's team. Some of
I
my
don't
favorite
really follow
players are on the
basketball
team.
like that
so.
for women's, which we should. That's a shame. But I know basketball is huge here.
Yeah,
and I
thought-
can wait to see
there-
those guys.
There's also 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics, and they play half court.
What?
Yes, 3-on-3, and it's actually so they play with a ball. It's new. I think it was new and introduced first in Tokyo 2020.
This is how you know basketball has so much money they don't know what to do with their money. Like invest in
Let's start
volleyball. What
another
are you
league.
doing?
Yeah, so 3-on-3, they play at half court. It's really fast speed, and the ball is actually a little bit smaller.
And who's representing USA?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm
There has to be
not
some
sure. I'm
crazy
actually
players.
blanking on it now
Is
because
this men's and women's as well? Or it's only
I believe it's men's and women's. Yeah.
now I wanna know.
But yeah, man, I'm actually not sure now because all I'm thinking about is the national teams for like regular basketball 5-on-5.
The Olympics is just so much fun. It's
There's
just
so much. There's
fun.
so much to watch.
to
So many cool sports.
I'm gonna lose my credit card and I'm gonna come here with like $10,000 in debt, but I don't care. One in a lifetime experience.
It
Right.
is a once in a lifetime experience. Like that has been something that's on my bucket list and has been for
Yeah.
so long.
It's
is
worth
to
it.
go to the Olympics.
I applied to be a
Maybe
volunteer.
LA 2028.
Yeah, I applied to
That'd
be a
be cool.
volunteer at Paris. I got to the last round, and then they didn't pick me because I only chose to be at the events in Paris. And they
But that's where volleyball is.
They were mainly looking for people to be at the events like outside of Paris.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to do that because we have to pay for everything. They don't cover any expenses.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, I'm not doing that if I'm not gonna be in Paris.
It is volunteer.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why you didn't make it, Kiki.
Right.
That would be a really cool experience, though. You know.
Imagine putting in my resume. I've volunteered at the Olympics, but also like
That would be so cool.
lifetime experience.
I'm so excited for this Olympics. Just like the opening ceremony, Paris.
Yeah,
like,
the opening ceremony and closing ceremonies are always something fun to watch. Like you
my
never know what
gosh.
each country is going to bring.
Yeah.
To me, until this day, I cannot take out of my head the Beijing Olympics and that opening ceremony. Nobody has been able to touch them. London was pretty
amazing.
close though. London was
very
very,
cool, too.
good, but Beijing was out of this world.
Yeah.
The opening and closing. And I also loved Brazil when they had the super. This is just my gay fantasy.
Rio.
When Brazil had all the supermodels walking.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
Giselle.
Wasn't it?
Giselle, Adriana Lima, Alessandra Ambrosio. Hello. I'm
Look at
Brazilian, I
you.
told you.
Look at you, knowing all
the
the girls.
London opening ceremony or something that had like this big scary figure. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about?
No.
I can picture it in my head, but
All I remember about the London
Never
Olympics
mind.
was
Let's
the
move
Spice
on.
Girls.
Like what?
Now
no,
I want to know.
I'll show
Google,
you.
Google
show
it so
you
you
later.
can show
I'll
it to me
Google
after
it to you
this.
later. Yeah, no, it's so fun. Like whether you're into the Olympics and watching and really tuning in and keeping up with it or not, like it's just such a it's such an amazing event. Like,
Yeah.
to see almost all countries in the world being represented and coming together, joining together and just playing sports
Yeah.
and representing their home countries,
Yeah.
representing their cultures. It's so cool to watch. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I wish I had gone to Rio.
Kiki, who do you think, if I may ask, are the top players to watch for women's?
The players?
Volleyball players.
Paola Egonu, Italian right side. Gabi Guimarães, Brazilian outside. And Melissa Vargas.
And you're not gonna mention Boskovic? How dare you?
Oh my God! How did I forget about her? Wait, I'll remove Melissa Vargas and I'll put Boskovic because Boskovic is playing by herself. The woman is scoring 35 points in a game by herself.
I mean, she's definitely like
She's the best right side hitter in the world.
in the world, and arguably, like a lot of people are saying other names, but there's nobody that comes close to
Yeah.
Boskovic. I'm very
Yeah.
excited to watch her play live. She's a 6'5", 6'6" opposite lefty.
From Serbia.
The girl is so good that some like good players, when you give them a good insistent ball, they're gonna destroy the ball. She destroys the ball in good system, bad system, no system, sitting in the bench, peeing in the toilet. Like you put a ball up and she's gonna get a point. Like seriously, she is insane.
Yeah, she's so good.
And there's no opposite in the world that hits out of system balls the way
Yeah,
she hits the
yeah.
ball. Like she always goes 100. There's no tipping. Like if she tips, it's because the ball is on the other side of the net. But if the ball is on her side of the net, doesn't matter where it is, she's gonna go hard. And she is like she studied the court. Like she knows every angle, every level, everything. Like amazing.
She's so good. Wait, what about you?
For me, players to watch, the entire Japanese team.
You said
I'm
three.
excited.
Honey, you said three. If I could have more, I would have said more people, but
Okay, I'm gonna
stick to the rules.
He said a whole
players-
team. He
Yeah.
said
I
the
mean,
whole
for
roster.
key players for women to watch, for me, it's gonna be unexpected. I wanna see Lin Yingying, the
From China?
lefty from China. I can wait to see them play against Turkey to see if those two middles block Melissa Vargas again, the way they
yeah.
blocked her out of her game.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see Brenda Castillo from the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
That Ribeiro is a show to watch. Her team is also an underdog, and I'm hoping they do really well.
No. They're not an underdog. That team is not even the dog. I'm so sorry to all my Dominican friends, and I know y'all are very passionate about that team, but that team is sad, Jose. I'm so sorry. They have Ariana on it, and she's fierce. She's 18 years old. She's not gonna make that much of a difference. She will in the future, but not now. Brenda Castillo.
But that team, it's the team that beat everyone to make it to the Olympics.
In the preliminary
In the-
stages, and then they get to the Olympics and they
No.
cannot function, Jose.
We cannot say that. This is what it is with the Dominican team. They don't have a system of volleyball.
Right.
They play very old-fashioned
They
volleyball.
play street volleyball.
No, but they're strong. They're very strong. And when they're on, they're on. Last year, in order to get a ticket for the Olympics, they beat Serbia, they beat Poland, they beat Turkey, they beat China. They beat everyone and their mother. Japan, they beat everyone. And they got their ticket to the Olympics before the teams that I just named, who are the top teams in the world.
Yeah.
The Dominican Republic for the past 10 years have been top 10 in the world. A team that has no system, and they really play with guts. That's a team that you can never count out. Because you don't know, I mean, they're in a horrible pool.
BFFR.
Yeah, that pool
If you think
where they're on. So in the Olympics, only 2 teams pass per pool. We have 3 pools, A, B, and C, and only 2 teams per pool pass out of 4 teams. Mm-hmm. And the other team that passes is the third best out of all the pools. So they will have to play perfect volleyball in order to even make it to the second.
And they are in a deaf pool. Like they are in the hardest pool in the whole Olympics, but it's because they're ranked 10th or like 9th in the world. So when they snake the pools, they end up in the hardest because they're playing against the teams that are
they
like
have
the top
Italy,
5.
Turkey, and Netherlands.
And
then
Italy and Turkey.
They can beat the Netherlands.
Italy and Turkey.
They can take Turkey to 5, and if they
don't
beat
think so.
them. They beat them in their last match together.
I don't think at the Olympics they're gonna take them to 5.
You're just jealous of the Dominican.
I'm not jealous. Let me tell you something. I cheer for a team
My Dominican
where
friend,
I don't have to be jealous.
145th, and we're gonna destroy him.
Let me tell you something. I love my Dominican friends, but that team needs Jesus.
That
they
team
need
really needs another coach.
coach. Yes, that's Jesus. That's
Yes.
But also, like, can we talk about like the new technologies that they're having? Like the whole challenge technology.
I love
It's
it.
changed the game.
I think it's changed it for the best.
For the best. And like the double rules, like if you actually let me go into the challenge rule. If you don't know what the challenge is, it's like each team gets 2 challenges per set that they are allowed to call when, let's say, the referee makes a call in favor of the other team, but this team thinks that the call was wrong. So they have an insane amount of cameras around the court. The floor has sensors on the floor to sense when the ball bounces near the line.
The net has them.
The
corners on
net
top.
has sensors when people touch the net. It's crazy.
They got that from tennis.
Tennis has it, but I was gonna say they definitely adopted it from a lot of major league sports organizations and leagues that do
The software
instant replay review
Which is
challenges.
great.
You
Which
know,
is
that's
great.
in basketball, football, soccer.
the software was actually modeled after the tennis software.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a similar court situation. Like you have a net and you have 2 sides.
And it minimizes
a camera on every single inch of the line,
It
every
minimizes
corner.
the human error.
Right.
A human can only do so much. Your eyes are only as fast as they can. But if a ball comes at 98 kilometers per hour, which is 120 something miles per hour.
Come on, conversion.
You think you're gonna be like?
You'd be surprised though, looking back at the challenges and reviews, how accurate the referees actually are.
Oh yeah.
Which is amazing in
I mean,
itself.
they are
Like,
trained
that's
for
super
that.
impressive. Yeah.
I wish I was a ref.
Yeah.
I wish I was an international ref. I would have loved to be an international.
There's a guy from New York who
so
refs
that-
the Olympics.
So that I can go to those games.
I know, I cannot.
But I feel like I would be a horrible ref because I'm such a fan.
Right.
That I would be like this.
Right.
Like it would be crazy.
Yeah.
But technology is I'm very happy for that.
Yeah.
We needed that. And it only makes me think how many important games were lost because of a touch.
Because
that
of a
didn't
touch,
happen. A line, the ball hit the line that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm talking about major games, major tournaments, Olympics, Grand Prix, World Cups, where so many teams lost because a ref said, no, it was a touch.
Yeah.
You know, the only people that remember those games are the fans on the losing side.
That's true.
The
Thanks.
only people that remember those games.
Shade. I call shade.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it
because
is. It
it's
is
like-
true. It is true. I can name you so many games
Coming
where I
on.
cried.
Yeah.
I cry when I watch volleyball. Like watching a telenovela. Like I cry. I'm such a fan.
Yeah, especially in like medal matches and stuff
Yeah,
like
oh my
that.
God.
It's imperative. Is it, well, how do you or sorry, what do you know like about the process for the challenge? Like if they
They have
challenge it and win the challenge, do
yeah.
they get it back?
No, they keep the like
They
they
keep
keep the challenge. So like they have 2%. If they challenge and they win the challenge, they keep
Their two.
they still with
Yeah,
2.
they get it back.
If they
Okay.
lose the challenge. They only have 1 left.
Yep.
They have 1 referee that is the challenge referee who sits at the table and watches the cameras 20 like the entire time. So like now you have like up ref, down ref, 2 line judges, book, and then you have
The system. people
another
that-
ref that is just for the cameras.
Challenges,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge thing, like
And it's 2%, you said?
2%, yeah. Yeah. And then now the VNL introduced this whole thing, it's called the green card, which
Which I
when-
love.
I love. It makes the sport so like
Clean.
clean. Like for example, so what the green card is when a player is involved in a point and that point is not clear to the ref or
The opposite team.
the challenge referee, they call themselves. For example, if a player hits a ball and they touch it, but the ref gave the point to the other team and the player says, no, I touched it, they get a green card, which is like it's
Incentive.
like
It's an
incentive for them to
for
be
sportsmanship.
for them to be true and like speak the truth if they actually touch the ball. And I was like, look at that.
Yeah, and the
Gold
team that
sticker.
accumulates-
Gold
Yeah, literally, you
sticker.
gotta go
But
golden
it's
star.
a gold sticker with a purpose because if you the team that at the end of the tournament accumulates the maximum amount of green cards get $30,000.
Yeah.
Oh my
team
gosh,
gets
there's a
$30,000.
money
Yeah.
prize?
Of course, I will be. And I'm not a cheater, but I'm playing the game, and I'm not a ref. You hit the ball, and if my whole hand came off, but the ref didn't see it, I'm not calling it.
Same.
But if you give me $30,000, even if I didn't touch it, I'm gonna call it so I can get those $30,000.
We're throwing money at people to just be honest.
Yeah.
It's because
That's how
the
bad
game
we've
is
gotten.
so fast right now.
Yeah.
The game is so, and like the future of the game, I think is in great hands because the amount of young talent that are coming out of like each team. Brazil has amazing players coming up. On the women's side, on the men's side, USA, you can never count them out. They have players like in their mama's bellies already, like that are gonna play in the games. Japan,
Yeah.
crazy. Even the Dominican team that my friend here like has some amazing athletes coming up. Italy has so many young athletes coming
Yeah.
up. Like there's so many teams with a lot of like
Yeah.
big gunpowder.
Yeah, there's a lot of new players. Like this Olympic is going to be very like new. Like
There's a
most
lot
of the
people
teams.
retiring after.
Yeah.
this.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jordan Larson, come on, girl.
That's my
Do
queen.
you want me
I
to
love
grab
her,
your
but-
hand and take you to retire? Because I mean, I love her. I think she's the GOAT. Like she is the GOAT. She's the greatest American volleyball player ever.
I disagree.
Who is
But you
it?
think she
Loves
kind of
and Tom.
fell off?
So here's the thing. I think technically and
If
like
you're talking
volleyball
about
wise.
awards, okay, but Logan Tom was queen.
No. I think that technically and volleyball wise, Logan Tom is the greatest outside hitter in the US and arguably in history, one of the. But I think in terms of longevity and like being consistent, Logan Tom to me, Jordan Larson to me is like
It's also your generation. Like it's a player that you grew up.
I grew up with Logan Tom. I watched Logan Tom in 2008 and 2012. I watched her hit that ball out both times.
Don't have to remind me.
I watched her hit
I'm
that ball
about to get up
out
and walk
both
out.
times.
I'm about to get up. And walk
Okay.
out. Like this is gonna be another type of.
I'm
interview.
sorry, but she is great. But she was awful to work with. Awful to work
I
with.
don't care. Like I don't care. what
Volleyball
you
is
did
not
outside
just
of
about
volleyball.
your skills, mama.
To
It's
me,
about
volleyball. It's volleyball.
It's a team
what
sport.
you do when you're in those 3 or 5 sets in the court.
sure.
Period. Point blank. She's
Anyways, sure. Anyways, but like there's a lot of players. There's a lot of players who are retiring.
It's like him saying that for him, Shayla was the ultimate player. You know the amount of players in the 90s and early 2000s that played for the national team
They
of
played
Brazil.
completely different volleyball.
For you to say that Shayla is top 3, yes. But there's so many players to me above Shayla. Jacqueline being one of them.
No, I said right side, not the greatest player. I don't think she's the greatest player. Of
You're
Brazil.
gonna tell me
That
that
was the conversation, Klinger. Where have you been? That's what
No,
the
I
conversation
said that she was the greatest right side hitter Brazil has ever had
Oh my gosh! Give us your real answer then. Who's the greatest player?
of all time.
in Brazil for you.
Oh,
This is a hard
what's
question,
her name? Oh my God, she
Anna
had
Moser?
the mole. Anna Moser. Mama. Anna Moser was alive during the
He
Cuban
disagrees.
reign.
See, I knew whoever you said, Jose was going to disagree.
Right, of course he
This
will.
happens all the time.
Is it Marcia Fu? Are you gonna say that's
Fu is
Marcia Fu?
100 times better than Shayla. Marcia Fu played every position at
Sure.
a high level. Marcia Fu even played middle, which is the hardest position to play as a hitter. She
Sure.
even hit the ball out of the middle. Shayla could never.
Wait, I have a fun question.
Yes.
Which individual player, in your guys' experience watching the Olympics, has had the best individual Olympic run?
Currently playing?
Or
Anyone that you've seen since you've been watching volleyball your whole life, like who has had the best Olympic run in
Ling
your
Ping.
opinion?
Ling Ping.
Lamping from
China.
I would say
Girl.
Sokolova or Kim Young-kan from Korea. Sokolova from Russia or Kim Young-kan from Korea.
Yes.
Those players, every time they stepped in the court, it was like,
Yeah, but Ling Ping literally.
Bow down, bow
Even
down.
Yeah, but Ling Ping won the Olympics twice as a player, then coached the American team, lost in finals against Brazil, so she got a medal from there, and then she went and coached the Chinese team in 2016
And also
and
got-
won the Olympics. She literally is the Karch Kiraly of women's volleyball.
Yeah.
Like she is a legend, legend. The woman is literally
she's
like
amazing.
people bow to her in China.
That's something I didn't even think about because you're so right. Like so many players go on to have coaching careers.
Oh yeah, Karch Kiraly.
Successful,
Karch Kiraly is one of them, even though he
winning
needs to
coaching
retire.
careers.
Karch Kiraly is like people say that he is the greatest. She is the GOAT for volleyball. I don't agree with,
He is.
but I think his career is wild. The man won indoor, out beach, and then won as a coach.
Very well rounded.
Like
Extremely.
I don't think he's a great coach, but that's a story. For
I mean,
another
he
time.
made his team win the gold medal in the World Cup, which is amazing. And he made his team win the gold medal in the Olympics. That makes you a GOAT. Not a lot of people can say that. And he also won individual medals as a player.
Yeah,
Indoors and beach. Like
Yeah.
to transition, people don't understand how hard it is to transition from an indoor game to a beach game that's a completely different monster and still be a high level player
Yeah.
and still
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
It's insane. But his time has passed.
Yeah.
Like he really needs to say, okay,
needs to retire.
whatever I had to teach, whatever system I wanted to implement, it's no longer working.
Yeah.
I need to go.
yeah.
And a lot of players that are amazing don't want to play for him.
Well, I
And
mean,
there's amazing players
look
in
at
the
Alicia
USA.
Glass. Look what he did to Alicia Glass.
To so many players. But that's another topic.
Yeah.
Final question. If we have to leave our audience with our final predictions, final answer, who is taking home the gold for men's and women's indoors?
That's such a hard question because this is really
know.
really the Olympics
I
where
asked the hard-hitting questions
Yeah.
here on
I'm
Between the
hate
Seams.
saying it. I'm gonna hate saying it, but I have it. For me, in the men's side, I'm not gonna hate the men's side because I think Japan is gonna win their first gold medal for the men.
think so.
You have
Yes.
been over here
That's
spokesperson
crazy.
for
For the
Japan
Japanese team.
the whole time.
Listen, I mark my words, and if they win, I want to be back in this podcast with a crown and my
can't
shirts
wait.
that I'm gonna buy in Paris.
Right.
And for the women's, as much as I hate to say it, I think this year Italy is gonna win.
You think
gold
so?
medal, yeah.
Wow.
Nobody like they won the VNL, and the way they looked at winning the VNL against Japan, who was playing stupidly good.
Yeah.
I think Italy is gonna win it because we have to also think about who are the people in the bench. And
Right.
no one has a deep bench the way Italy has.
Yeah.
Like if any player, top ranked player from Italy gets out and it's taken out for some reason, injury or whatever, there are 3 other players in the bench, including middles, that are amazing.
Yeah.
And
a
they
good
showed
point.
it. And they showed it. They just played friendly matches and they said to Egonu, who is their top player, sit down.
Yeah.
And they made the other opposite play and they just beat the other.
Which is the
same-
spitting image of Vigano.
It's the
They
spitting
look
image of
exactly the
Vigano,
same
just
thing.
white.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Their
Yeah.
depth. I
Yeah.
think as much as I hate to say it, Italy is gonna win. And I think the final is going to be either Italy Turkey or Italy USA. And I'm lying on that second one, but I want.
Yeah, girl. That's
I
crazy.
wanna put that in the air.
No, no, no.
Some good
honey.
predictions.
No, no, no.
Kiki.
For women's, I mean, I can't not sit here and disregard Brazil's like track record at the VNL this
Yeah, I
past.
think Brazil is gonna make it to third.
I think you're crazy, but it's because I
fourth.
get it because the U.S.
Or
but
fourth.
I think the like finals Olympic gold medal match is going to be Italy and Brazil, and I think the
She's biased.
third place match is going to be USA and Turkey. That's if because the Japanese team is playing like I've never seen them play before, and I think they might upset a lot of people. Well, they just upset Brazil after Brazil was undefeated, and they took Brazil to 5 and beat them. But I think that is a toss-up between
Yeah, you
Italy
never
and
know.
Brazil.
You
I
don't
don't
know
know.
who's gonna win.
I don't know. The Italian team has the most complete set of outside hitters in the world right now. Like they're not the best ones, but them combined make them the
And
best
even
ones.
the girls in the bench. They're
Yeah,
insane.
and their libero,
Yeah,
De
the
Gennaro, she is the best. I think her and Brenda Castillo are like, and Naomi now, because Naomi is also, and the Japanese libero, but I think De Gennaro is the best
De
libero.
Gennaro and Brenda read the game
Like,
better than any other.
De
libero.
Gennaro's like, she plays for the top team in the world
Yeah.
for club. She's won club championship every year.
Yeah,
she plays
she's
for
really good. She's not better than Brenda, but she's
Imo
very good.
Conegliano. She's so good, so good. But Brazil, I don't know. Wow, I don't know what
Good luck
happens.
with your Brazilian team.
Girl, I'm not discounting the USA because I love my girls. I love the US. To me, Brazil and the US are my teams.
Me too, but I'm really rooting
But
for
if they
Japan
keep
too.
playing
Can you
like the way
I
they're
can
playing,
tell. I can
right?
It's something about you. I don't know. You're just giving that off right now.
And then for men's, I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't care less about them. But
I hope Brazil makes it all the way, to be honest.
I don't.
love the Brazilian team and they're
I think it's gonna be. Not Serbia. Ew. Poland. I think Poland is gonna win.
Italy's also
For the men?
Yeah, Italy for the men's is also a big surprise. They have a lot of
Yeah.
hungry new players.
It all depends
and
on how their
amazing
setter plays.
Amazing setter too.
Yeah.
Amazing setter. USA too can sneak in there. Has a lot of like experience.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I'm gonna go with some home team predictions. Also, I'm not as versed on the individual players, and you guys have a wealth of knowledge, but I'm gonna just go with USA for
Yay.
both. For both.
Just to be safe.
Yes, thank you.
Home team.
you.
You gotta root for the USA.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'm
Gonna
so
be amazing
excited.
to watch.
Thank you guys so much for being on this episode.
Thank you for inviting me.
And arguing back and forth across me. I loved every minute of it.
It's all love. It's all love.
It's all love. Okay, thank you everybody at home watching and listening. If you haven't already, please follow us on Spotify and tune in for more episodes. And if you're on YouTube watching the video version, make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll get back to you with more episodes. All right, thanks guys.
Bye.